Last year I was a closer for a high ticket offer. I took 685 sales calls. I closed about 65% of them, and in my last month I collected over $290,000 in cash. My seat paid me a little over 30 grand a month, and last month I walked away from it. Everybody has the same reaction. Why would you leave $30,000 a month, location freedom? Why not stay, stack the savings, stack the investments? And that's the trap I want to talk about, because the longer I stayed, the more comfortable I felt. But here's the real reason I left, and it's the whole thing that this channel is about. Somewhere around call 3 or 400, I noticed something. My best calls, the ones that closed in 20 minutes like the deal was already done, I wasn't even winning those calls. They were won before I opened my mouth. So picture the seat I was in. Fitness company, high ticket program, calls booked back to back all day, every day, 685 conversations, and when you take that many calls, you start to notice trends. There were two kinds of calls, and I could tell them apart within 90 seconds of each other. The first one, the person joins, they get on, they act like they know you already, they're comfortable, they mention a specific video, and they're not asking if this works, they're asking about the start date and payment plans. Those calls felt less like selling and more like paperwork. They're literally impossible to drop the ball on. I had calls where I spoke for maybe 4 minutes, and then right after they were ready to buy, we were swiping cards, we were getting started, and I've even closed deals over text, multiple deals in a day, without ever talking to the person face to face. The second type of call, same offer, same price, same me, person gets on and opens up with, "So, what is this again?" And now everything that the marketing was supposed to do, I'm doing live with a skeptic on a timer because I got calls back to back. So some of those closed anyway, and that's the purpose of the job. Anyone can close the other ones, that's not the point. The point is that they took 60 minutes instead of 20 minutes. They haggled, they needed to think about it, they needed to talk to their wife. Same offer, same closer, completely different call. So the difference was never on the call, the difference was everything that happened before the call. What they watched, what they read, what they believed by the time they showed up and had that closing conversation. And once I saw that, I started to think, if the call is decided before the call, what's actually deciding it? It wasn't me. I was getting paid, well mind you, for deals that a machine was setting up. The company I closed for had a real system, elite marketing. The content was polarizing, it nurtured viewers with dedicated top, middle, and bottom of funnel content, it broke limiting beliefs, it pre-handled objections, it ticked all the boxes of human and buyer psychology, and most importantly, it gave them belief in themselves, that it was actually possible. By the time someone sat down and had that conversation with me, the heavy lifting was already done. Now don't get me wrong, I'm a good closer. I know my psychology, basic human needs, reframes, non-buyer language, identity framing, objection isolation, I had the word tracks, etc. But I was the last domino taking credit for the whole row. And I got to see that machine from the inside. I actually helped build parts of it. And I'm not going to sit here and take credit for that, but I sold inside of it every single day. I watched what it did to people before they reached me. And I learned more about marketing from the closer's chair than I could have ever learned reading books or watching content. So look at the position that put me in. Closing is a skill, and I'm proud of it. But a great closer might move a close rate 10, 15 points. The machine before the call, that's the difference between a calendar full of skeptics or full of believers. That's 40 points. That's the whole business. I was standing on one square of the board with the least leverage, getting comfortable at 30 grand a month. And every month I stayed, leaving got more expensive. That's the comfort trap. It doesn't feel like a trap. It feels like you are winning. So I made the call to leave to go build the machines. Now, sales guys watching this already know the word for those first kinds of calls. Those calls are what we call laydowns, where they close themselves. And I'm just going to be honest with you, I fell in love with laydowns. A laydown isn't luck. A laydown is proof that somewhere along the lines upstream, everything worked. The right person saw the right message, believed it, and arrived already sold. A laydown is a confirmation receipt of the machine. So yes, my mission statement is exactly what it sounds like. I am on a mission to create more laydowns. I think the world deserves more laydowns. Coaches deserve to get off of calls and not need a nap afterward. Buyers deserve to show up already knowing instead of being persuaded. Of course, naturally, this will always happen, especially on a paid traffic funnel. But the goal is to mitigate it. Everybody wins when the journey does its job. So here's what I actually do now. I build systems for coaches and consultants who sell high ticket offers. The full journey a stranger takes between finding your content and showing up to a sales call already sold. That is the product. That means the landing page that makes the case, the video that answers questions while you sleep, the application that qualifies people instead of scaring them off, the calendar that's embedded where it should be. Because when it's not, about half of the people who actually apply never make it to the booking. That's not my opinion, that's the pattern. And I'll show you the numbers in the videos coming up after this. 9 stages, 1 journey, built backward from the closing conversation, because that's the room I actually come from. And there's one more piece, and honestly, it might be the part I care the most about. When I build it, you own it. Everything sits in your accounts. Your domain, your CRM, your pages, your data. I build it, I hand you the keys, and I remove my own access. No retainers, no rent. One-time build, hard handoff, it's yours. And why do I build it that way? Is because I've seen the other model, and I think renting a business its own sales system is a racket, and I wouldn't trust it myself, so I don't expect you to either. Now let me tell you where this actually stands. The company is new. I just started it. The 685 calls are not new. The skill came with me. But the business you're watching me build is at the beginning. I'm not going to show you fake screenshots or rented cars, and I'm not going to pretend I have 100 clients. Here's the structure. I'm going to take on 4 builds a month. That is it. Each one gets built in about a week, and it gets my full attention while it's on the bench. And the founding pricing, that exists right now for the first 10 builds. After 10, it is going to go up. And this is not a countdown timer trick. It's just what's going to happen as I get testimonials. And that's the journey you're being invited into. Watch a guy take his own medicine in public, build a machine, fill 4 seats a month, and document what works and what doesn't. The weeks I ship, the weeks we win, and the weeks we lose. So here's what the channel is going to be. Teardowns, where we go through real funnels on screen and find the leaks, funnel numbers and how to read them, the sales floor, what the 685 calls taught me about why people actually buy, and the business. This business, documented as it grows with the decisions and mistakes on camera. So if you're a coach or consultant with a real offer, people have paid you, your stuff works, and your problem is that everything between your content and your calls feels like it's duct taped together, this channel was built for you, and I would subscribe. And last thing, I'm not going to end this by convincing you of anything. That would be a little ironic given everything I just talked about. So instead, my funnel is linked below. It's the same machine I build for clients, and it is always open for inspection. So walk through it like a prospect. Watch what it does, in what order, and notice what you're feeling at each step. That feeling is the product. If it can't sell you, you shouldn't hire me. Simple as that. And if you already know something's leaking, you've got the views, you got the DMs, and your calendar isn't packed, there's a free audit on that same page. 20 minutes where we pull your 6 numbers, we circle your one bottleneck, and you leave with a map of prioritized fixes so you can start increasing your revenue without needing more attention. I left the best seat in sales to build the machines that make sales easy. So I'm gonna document it all. I hope you stick around, and I hope to see you in the next one.